Alright, 12.3, solving radical equations. Now we've been doing radical expressions, but we haven't done equations yet. The difference is your equation is going to have an equal sign in it, which means you have to solve for x equals and get a final answer. We're going to start on page 674 with the your turn. So it's an equation, it has an equal sign, we're going to get an answer. Now the first example is really pretty easy because what we're wanting to do is isolate the part that says x plus 5 to the 1/2. We're wanting to get that by itself because we're trying to solve for x equals, just like you do in an algebra problem. So we want to get rid of the minus 2. So we're going to add 2 on both sides, which will give me x plus 5 to the 1/2 equals 3. Now to get rid of the exponent here, I could make that a 1, and to make that a 1 I would multiply it by a 2, so actually I'm going to square both sides. Now you do not have to put it in brackets. I just put it in brackets so we could separate the exponent from the power here. Alright, so when I have a power to a power, I multiply those powers, and that's 1, so that just leaves me on the left side just x plus 5. And then I square the right side, which is 3 squared, which will be 9. Subtract 5 from both sides. X equals 4. Any questions? Now, we would put that back in to check it. And if you're in pre-AP, we are going to check every one of them. So to substitute that back into x, I would have 4 plus 5 to the 1/2 minus 2 equals 1. 4 plus 5 is 9 to the 1/2 minus 2 equals 1. 9 to the 1/2 really means the square root of 9. 3 minus 2 equals 1. 1 equals 1. Checked out. So our answer of 4, x equals 4 is correct. Any questions on that? Okay, we're going to go to the next page. Example A. Let's see.
It's the second page.
Same page at the
Bottom.
At the bottom. Same page at the bottom. Alright, this one right here is a radical instead of a rational exponent. It has a radical in it, but we're going to treat it the same way. So we want to isolate the x. So the first thing we're going to do is subtract 7 on both sides. Cube root of x plus 2 equals negative 2. Now how do you think we get rid of a cube root? Cube it. So we're going to cube it, both sides. So cubing a cube root gets rid of that, so it will just leave us x plus 2, and then negative 2 cubed is negative 8. Subtract 2 on both sides. X equals negative 10. And we're going to check. Put negative 10 in for x. Cube root. Negative 10 plus 2 plus 7 equals 5. Cube root of negative 8 plus 7 equals 5. The cube root of negative 8 is negative 2 plus 7 equals 5. 5 equals 5. So our answer is correct. Any questions on those? Okay, let's go over B. Example B. Now this one's a little bit harder because I have x's on both sides and this x is already isolated over here, but it's under the radical. So in order to get rid of that cube root there, I'm still going to have to cube that side. And when I cube that side, I have to cube the other side. So it really helps us out here on the left because it got rid of the cube root, which just left us x minus 5. But it gave us a mess over here on the right side, because we have x plus 1 cubed, which means x plus 1 times x plus 1 times x plus 1. We're going to have to multiply that out. Okay. I'm going to put it in a box. You don't have to if you know how to FOIL it. So you would put the first two, we're just going to multiply the first two first, in a box. So that will give me x squared. X times 1 is x. X times 1 is x. And 1 times 1 is 1, which will give me x squared plus, add these together, 2x plus 1. That's the first two multiplied together. Then I have to multiply that times x plus 1 again. You still put it in a box. X cubed. X squared times 1 is x squared. X times 2x is 2x squared. 2x times 1 is 2x. X times 1 is x. 1 times 1 is 1. So when I add like terms, I get x cubed. These two will add together, plus 3x squared plus 3x plus 1 equals x minus 5. Any questions so far? Okay, so I have to solve for x. So what would be my next step? Okay, move the x minus 5 over here on this side. So I'm going to minus x and add 5. So everything on the left will cancel, which will give me 0 equals x cubed plus 3x squared. 3x minus x is 2x, and 1 plus 5 is 6. Now, I have 4 terms here. Remember back several modules ago, how can I get this to be x equals? How am I going to factor something with 4 terms? Say it. Synthetic division, I would use that if I had 3 terms. Oh, you're talking about divided out. How else can I do 4 terms? Grouping. We're going to group it. First 2, last 2. 0 equals. What do these first 2 have in common? X squared, which will leave x plus 3. What do these last 2 have in common? 2, which will leave x plus 3. Now what do these 2 have in common?
X plus 3.
X plus 3. And that will leave me x squared plus 2 equals 0. We're getting close. We still have to solve for x equals. What do I do with each of these binomials? Set them equal to 0. Very good. X plus 3 equals 0. X equals negative 3. X squared plus 2 equals 0. X squared equals negative 2. And I can't have x equals square root of negative 2, so that will not be an answer. So now we have to see if negative 3 is an answer. So we're going to check it, if we can find the problem. Alright, here's our original problem right there. I'm going to substitute negative 3 in. Cube root of negative 3 minus 5 equals negative 3 plus 1. Cube root of negative 8 equals negative 2. What's the cube root of negative 8?
Negative 2.
Negative 2 equals negative 2. Checks out. That right there is my final answer. Any questions? All right, last one. Your turn on page 675. Okay, what do you think would be the best thing to do starting this problem out? What could we do? Say it again. Divide by 2. Very good. That will simplify the problem just a little bit. It'll give us a little bit smaller numbers. If we will go ahead and divide by 2. So that leaves me x minus 50 to the 1/3 equals negative 5. Now, just like we did on, I think, example 2, the second one that I did, how do I get rid of to the 1/3 power? Okay, multiply it by 3, which means I'm going to cube it. X minus 50 equals, what's negative 5 cubed? negative 120.